Hello, mamas, and welcome to Mahogany Mamas. Glad to have you join in for today's episode about the role of a doula during the birthing process. I have the pleasure of having not one but two amazing doulas as guests today. I have Miss Shatija Harris, and a bit about Shatija. She is known as T the Doula, founder of Chrysalis Birthing LLC. She is a birthing doula, placenta encapsulation specialist, and author dedicated to supporting families through the pregnancy, birth, and postpartum with compassion, education, and advocacy. Alongside her business partner, Beverly Black, they are the founders of the Village Community Baby Shower. It's a community-driven experience rooted in love, support, and collective care for families. And Miss Beverly Black is a birthing doula and owner of BB Queens LLC. She is passionate about offering support and guidance through every step of your reproductive journey. She is able to help advocate and support during pregnancy, labor, and during the early challenges of postpartum recovery. She's here to provide personalized care tailored to fit your needs and to ensure you feel empowered during these stages. And she also has the Village Community Baby Shower since she and Shatija Harris, they work together for that project. So thank y'all for joining today. I wanted to start by talking about a little bit about why you became a doula. Shatija, I'll start with you.
Okay. So for most of you who don't know me, my name is Shatija Harris, also known as Tita Doula. I was born and raised right here in Lakeland, South Carolina. So from a young age, caregiving was moving into who I am today. And growing up, I had two main career goals to become a veterinarian and a nurse. So loving and caring for animals and people made me realize early on that I was basically a natural nurturer and that whichever path that I chose, I would succeed in regardless. So fast forwarding into my high school days, I graduated in 2016, and I then proceeded to take the nursing route with the goal of becoming a neonatal nurse, working in the NICU. So August of 2016, I enrolled in at Greenville Technical College. Despite feeling nervous, excited, anxious, and honestly scared but determined. Over the next few years, I learned a lot about myself. And in 2018, I made the difficult decision to switch my major after realizing that the NICU was no longer where I was meant to be. So although I felt unsure of my direction, I completed my nursing prereqs and went on to graduate in 2020 with an associate of science during the height of COVID. And so, despite graduating in the height of COVID, I still took the knowledge of taking a TEAS test to enter to nursing school. And failing on my first attempt was discouraging to me, but it led me to take a step back from school. So from 2020 to 2022, I spent time basically reflecting, regrouping, and researching how I could support mothers before, during, and after labor. So during that time, I discovered the role of a birthing doula. And so it was like a light bulb to me that went off. And I knew that being a birthing doula was not just a career, but my calling. So before moving forward, I sought out confirmation from God, asking for clarity and direction. And once I received the confirmation, I moved quietly but confidently. And in 2023, without telling anyone but my grandmother, I enrolled into a 6-week homeschool program called Mama Glow Doula based out of New York City, taught by Lathan Thomas, which she was so amazing. And the program aligned deeply with my values, my purpose, and my spirit. So then after completing the program, I graduated in 2024 with a bit of nerves and excitement and certainty and a leap of faith. I officially introduced myself to the world as Peter Doula and the founder of Chris's Birthday LLC on August the 8th, 2024. And now I'm here.
And I sensed a little bit of perseverance. So even though you had to change your major, you still found your niche and found
Yes,
a way to
ma'am.
said, I love that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Miss Beverly, tell us how you started your journey to becoming a doula.
Okay. Yeah, and just like Shatija, I'm also from Lancaster, South Carolina. We actually live not too far from each other, but didn't really know each other until last year, which is surprising.
Wow.
um, so my background includes working with individuals with special needs. So I was originally going to school for psychology, and then I switched over to business administration later in my years. But of course, growing up, my mom always worked with special needs students, so that was just kind of a gift that was passed down from her. And I was raised with parents who had a heart and care for special needs and for the elderly. So that came second nature for me. So for the next 15 years, I participated in, I had a career in ABA therapy. Amongst other things, I also worked in healthcare for about 10 of those years as well. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And to this day, I still do ABA therapy on certain days of the week. But I felt as if I should be doing something else. So after being present for multiple siblings and family members and friends when having a baby, and I got to see their struggle with postpartum. At an early age, I didn't necessarily understand what it was because they always said that was just like a pregnancy hormone. But as I got older and started acting as a doula to some of my friends and family, I realized, what it was. And I felt there was a need there. They needed help. It was more than just normal pregnancy hormones that we just kind of brush off. So I knew what I needed to do, and I felt an excitement and a passion about that I hadn't felt in a long time. So it took me some time to decide what I wanted to do because, of course, starting your own business or venturing out into something new, you get discouraged. There's a bit of fear that kind of takes over. And once you get into a routine and find safety in a career that you have, it's hard to jump from that. So I took some time, and my granny, who had 10 of her 11 children from a midwife, she pushed me to do it. And back then, when I described what a doula was, because she had never heard the term, she described it as back then they were called midwife assistants. So she pushed me to do it. She said, "You have the passion, you have the compassion, and things that you need to do a job like that. And obviously, it's definitely needed. It's a needed role, and a lot of women struggle with things that they don't necessarily say out loud. So it's definitely a need." She passed 2 months after we had that conversation, so that kind of paused me again. And then the following year, I decided in her honor around her birthday to go ahead and get certified, stop fighting it, and kind of take the lead. So I ended up taking a class with Kira Kimball under Train with Kira was the name of her organization. And I took the class and started my own business. Kira kind of pushed me and dived right into doing the job. She doesn't hold back. Hers is more of learn by experience, not wait on it, not do other things because that's going to prolong you. If you keep setting these little milestones where once I get this done, then I'll start. So she kind of helped to jump me right in. And then I ended up getting laid off about 3 months after the certification. So that definitely pushed me forward because I prayed about it as if this is not the job I'm supposed to be doing. Of course, working with ABA at that point, I was at a corporate level doing it. And a few days later, I ended up getting laid off due to changes in funding. So that was my signal to go ahead and jump all in and get it done. So I've trusted God through this process, and it has worked out perfectly fine, might I add. And then my name, BB Queens, it comes from my granny. That was her nickname for me as a child. So in honor of her, I named my business after that.
Oh, and I love that your grandmother also, like Shatija, had an important role in you deciding what to do. So y'all have that in common
Foundation.
too. And sorry about the passing of your grandmother, but I love that you honoring her by doing this work. So thank you for
Oh,
doing
thank
the
you.
work for our women around the community.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And my next question, I'll start with you, Beverly, this time. This is a two-part question. For
Okay.
those who may not know, what would you tell us a doula does?
So a doula is someone who is there to help with information, help with the resources, help with comfort measures. The easy way I can explain it is a doula is your support person. Of course, we all have, whether it's husbands, whether it's our mother there, whether it's family, and not saying that those people can't do the job because a lot of those, uh, the people that are close to us, they can act as doulas. However, sometimes it is nice to have that person that is there who is a little bit more unbiased and they're there just for you because sometimes those other members that are there, sometimes they have their own things. They may get tired. Sometimes you just other people just need a break, just like as doulas we need a break or you may have kids there. So sometimes the focus is shifted a little bit. But by having a doula, you have your own support system there. You have your advocates there. Sometimes, because this is a profession for us, we may know different information than your family members may know, and we're unbiased. So sometimes, like I said before, when we have those family members who sometimes can brush it off and just kind of like, well, that's just how they are. That's just this you. We sometimes brush things off that may be a bigger picture, and sometimes it's not, because I don't feel like it's intentional, but you just may not know certain things, or you just may be so used to that person. It's like, oh, that's what they do. So you don't necessarily see, okay, this is a little bit of a red flag. Like their mood has shifted, you know what I'm saying, their attitude has shifted. So it's nice having that on your own support person who has all these research sources who are hired just there to be with you, just to make sure that you have what you need and we don't lose focus. And if for some reason we do get to a point, just like your family members, where we tap out, we have backup doulas. We have things in place to make sure you have that support person. Because I know, as far as me and Shatisha, you do have some doulas who may leave during the process, but we're there the full birth. Like I said, if it gets to a certain amount of hours, obviously, if I'm too tired, I can't help you if I'm drained. So that's when we kind of like tap out and call our backup doula. But other than that, we're here to be with you through that full birthing process to make sure you have a safe and healthy birth. That's our main goal, to have a safe and healthy birth. It's not about doing all the things, because not everybody needs the same type of support, but just making sure you feel supported, you feel heard, and that you understand every single thing that is going on with you during that time, and not like some clients describe it as they feel like things are happening to them and they're not part of the process. So we're there to make sure you're part of the process, you understand everything, you can make informed decisions about what's going on.
Okay, I love that. So you do meet with your clients like before the actual birthing process, before they
Yeah,
even
so
do.
typically with me, the process is we have two prenatal visits. One will be like making your birth plan, getting some questions out the way. The second one would be hands on, because the time that we use the interventions, or whether it's different comfort measures, obviously nobody wants to learn that while they're in labor. So we go over it about 37, 38 weeks prior to going into the hospital. So that way you kind of have an idea of what we're doing when we get there, whether it's using the medicine ball, rebozo, and all those types of things. So that's not your first time coming in contact with them. Once you're in labor and your brain is probably somewhere else. And then as far as contact, I typically contact my client every week. And it just depends on the client. Some people, they're on their third or fourth child, they don't want a lot of contact. So it may be just email. So that way you can check it if you want to, don't check it if you don't. Some people require a little bit more. So it may be a text weekly, it may be a call. And it just depends on the person. Like if you're dealing with depression or different types of things, I will call you typically a bit more, just so I can actually hear your voice. Because I've noticed that some clients, they won't tell you, but if I can hear their voice, I can tell, like, okay, something's going on. Like, so it just depends. And that communication is really just determined by the client. Like I said, some people want more, some people want less.
Okay. Shatija, you have anything to add to that?
She answered it so perfectly, so I do not have anything to add to it.
Okay. And she did. And I love, Beverly, that you said that you meet with the client like
Yes.
beforehand. And
Yeah.
because I have a 4-year-old son and I delivered him during the pandemic. So at
Oh,
that time, I
wow.
didn't quite know any doulas. And I wanted to choose somebody that looked like me, that I,
Right.
Right.
spoke with beforehand. I didn't know of anything like that. The only doula that I knew of was in Washington, D.C. So she was like,
Oh
Oh,
okay,
wow.
wow.
fly me in, and
Mhm.
we might can do something virtual. And I didn't want that. I wanted her to be there holding my hand.
Right, right. Yeah.
Because like you said, support people. My husband was there, but then he was like, I don't know nothing to do. He was
And
just
that was
kind of
the
standing
hard
there.
thing during COVID too, because a lot of people weren't even,
Hmm.
a lot of doulas, or at least
Yes.
around here, weren't even allowed in the hospital setting. So
Right.
that was really hard.
Right, right. And I had a doula, but it was one that the hospital, like a hospital appointed one. So I hadn't met her. Did
Right.
not get to meet her beforehand. She was just there, basically. So,
And that's very different, because you're in a vulnerable space, so you kind of want
right,
somebody that you already know, and not like,
Hmm.
right, right.
that
I
was
mean,
just
she
almost
was
like an
good,
extra
but I wish I
nurse. It
had
was,
met her before.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Mr. Shatija, this question is for you. What's the difference between a birth doula and a postpartum doula?
Ooh, so a birthing doula basically supports family during pregnancy and labor. So this includes helping parents prepare for birth, understanding their options, feeling confident, advocating for themselves during labor and birth. A birthing doula offers comfort measures such as breathing technique, positioning, encouragement, and reassurance. As birthing doulas, we also help families navigate like the hospital or birthing settings, like asking questions and ensuring the birthing person feels heard and supported during their experience. As far as a postpartum doula, we are trained to support the mothers after the birth, and so we focus on healing and just adjustments and overall well-being during the fourth trimester. So the role is like to basically center the mom just as much as the baby. A postpartum doula provides emotional support by just listening without judgment, normalizing the wide range of feelings that can come after birth, and helping families build confidence in their new roles. They also offer practical support such as light household help, meal prepping, newborn care, education, and guidance on infant feeding and sleep, as well as respecting the family values and choices. A postpartum doula can also support the family for a few days and a few weeks or even several months after birth. It depends on how long the basically how long the postpartum doula wants the contract to last or whatnot. So after depending on the family needs and agreements made, most importantly a postpartum doula helps protect the mom, rest and recover, reminding her that she does not have to do anything alone. So that kind of support can reduce overwhelming and lower the risk of postpartum mood challenges and create a calmer, more supported transition into parenthood for the entire family. So both are very important for the mom. So I feel as if both are something that I mean, well, as a mom, I feel as if she should hire if the birthing doula is not a full spectrum doula, which is both I mean not postpartum, but yeah, postpartum and birthing doula. If she hired a doula that's just a birthing doula, I feel like she should also hire a postpartum doula because it's a very critical time whenever she's transitioning from birth to postpartum. So I feel like both are just very important to have to help her transition while she's in labor and after labor.
Yes.
So yeah, both are very important, and I feel like everyone should always keep that in mind to have that type of support during both critical times.
Yeah. See, I didn't know about the postpartum doula. When
Yes,
I
ma'am.
delivered my son, I wish I had both. I felt like that would have helped my husband and I both adjust to
Mm-hmm.
parents, to becoming new
Mm-hmm.
parents, better. So yeah, you are right. They are both very important.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. My next question, I'll start with you, Miss Shatija.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is your favorite part about being a doula?
Oh wow. So as being a doula, I do not like to just pinpoint just one favorite thing because there are so many meaningful moments that make different parts of my clients' birthing journeys special.
Mhm.
But what always stands out to me is the connection that I build with my clients and the moment she truly feels seen, heard, and supported. So when she feels safe and understood, something begins to like open up for my clients. And so there's always a moment during labor or sometimes even postpartum when she realized the power she holds within herself and she looks at herself differently and thinks like, wow, like I really just did that. So being present for that realization is everything to me. It's sacred. And as a doula, I'm not just supporting her at birth. I am holding space for her becoming. I'm holding space for her transformation. I'm holding space for her confidence and her healing as well. And I can see it unfold in real time. And so me just witnessing a woman and a mother truly like step into herself, it's like the feeling never gets old to me. So those are some of the favorite moments I had as a doula. But like I said, like I do not like to pinpoint just one, favorite moment because birthing is such a sacred, journey and everything is meaningful. So
Yeah.
that's just one of the favorite like moments that I love to just enjoy while being a doula.
I love everything you just said. I feel like giving you snaps, hugs. I almost want to cry. That was beautiful,
Thank you.
Shatija.
Thank you.
And Beverly, the same question.
Much like strategic, I'm kind of like that too. It's so many things that go on from the time you're hired until like the end of postpartum or the beginning of postpartum, and there's so many parts. So mine is like the same. Like those moments of gratitude or satisfaction that come when you're at your visits and you're having conversations with your client and they feel like you understand them. They feel like somebody is there who finally gets it. Somebody who is there who actually will listen to them and take heed to whatever it is, because a lot of times I think a lot of moms are nervous to have certain conversations or say certain stuff because they're like, okay, I feel like I'm a little crazy, or feel like it's a little redundant, or like everybody's going through this. Why do I feel this way? But when you have someone there who like fully like understands you, like no question is a crazy question. I'd rather you ask it and us kind of like deal with it or figure out the answers versus you keep it in your head and it may be something that really matters. No matter how many times women go through birth, there's still questions. There are a lot of people who are on their fourth child and still don't know any more than they learned on their that they knew on their first child. So it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not know things. So once they finally get to that point where they're comfortable talking to you and comfortable and feel like they have a lot of resources, because I encourage my clients to educate themselves. I give them like little booklets with a lot of information that they can read on, or just resources where you can go kind of look for yourself. But it's like, I'm there to advocate for you, but I also want you to learn how to do it for yourself because I'm not at all of your appointments. You need to know the questions to ask. You need to know all the things. So it's like research yourself a little bit so you at least have a little bit more knowledge, and it makes you feel more comfortable and it makes you feel like you're part of the process a lot more than before. And it's another one of those moments is when the like parents first lock eyes with their new baby. Like that is just like no matter how much chaos was going on before the baby actually came out, it's just like when that moment of calmness and they kind of like realize like, okay, the baby's here, like we did it, like and they feel like they got the birth that they wanted. Like of course the birth that you want, it may not always be like, hey, I wanted to birth in a birth pool and I had a C-section. No, it's just about a lot of times that can happen, but just knowing that you were part of the process. Like I got to make an informed decision where yes, it was medically necessary, where we had to change our plans, and that is okay, and I feel comfortable with that. So you still got the birth that you wanted because you just want to be. A lot of people just want to be supported. Like that's the
Right.
main thing that people don't realize. Like support is a big thing. So just knowing that you made all these educated decisions, your child is here, no matter what hard times led us up to this moment, like you just feel safe and comforted, and they look at you with that sense of gratitude as if, you really did your job, you really helped them. Like that is one of the biggest moments for me.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that education is very important instead of just like, helping them with the process. I love that you encourage them to educate themselves so they'll know not just for this time, but for
Right.
future pregnancies and births. And one thing that stuck out to me was when you said, teach them, I try to educate them, have them do research and
Mm-hmm.
not just that giving them fish, you teaching them to fish.
Right, right.
Yeah, so
Right.
I love that. All right, my next question, and I'll start with you, Beverly.
Okay.
With all the things that happen surrounding Black women and our experiences while giving birth, as far as like morbidity and mortality, please discuss the benefits of a Black woman and her significant other or family as a whole while giving birth. Discuss, the role of a doula, how that would, benefit or impact
Okay.
a
And
Black
I'm going to
woman.
read a little something as well. It comes
Okay.
from evidence-based birth. Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white people, and 5 more times likely to die from pregnancy-related cardiomyopathy and blood pressure disorders, while 60% of maternal deaths are considered preventable. Black patients born in the U.S. are more likely to develop preeclampsia than blacks born elsewhere, and the risk increases for those born elsewhere after being in the United States for 10 years. Black patients are more likely to experience coercion and forced perinatal procedures compared to white patients. So that is a lot. So it's extremely important for Black women to have someone to advocate for them. Somebody who will speak up for you when you cannot, or simply just feel like you're not being heard. often black women are racially profiled. A lot of times we're overlooked or said to have a high pain tolerance.
Yes.
Everything from inferior shaped pelvises. We're more independent, which means we'll need less help. So we're kind of, a lot of things are just kind of like, here you go. And then we kind of have to figure out how to deal with it. We're said to have unhealthy diets, which can cause to other issues and being overlooked or misdiagnosed. So there are many racial biases that can lead to mistreatment in medical settings, which, if unnoticed, can lead to morbidity and mortality. It's important for you and your family, like I said, to educate yourselves, do the research on the different biases as well. A lot of people feel like they don't exist, or because you do not hear about them, like they're just not a thing anymore. And it is still a huge thing. Like I said, the stats that I read earlier, like a lot of people are still dying or getting illnesses because everything is being overlooked. And like I said, it may not happen in every setting, but it's
Right.
still happening a lot more than what it used to.
Right. Right.
And so you need to know the things to look out in those settings. So learn as much as you can. Many births happen every day, and it feels so natural to go through this process, but it's a very serious process. And some don't have the fairy tale experience that, many people or sometimes TV can portray.
Right.
So make sure you have someone, even if you don't have a doula, make sure you have someone there who is not scared to stand up for you, not there to pick a fight, but is not afraid to ask hard questions and ensure you're being heard and getting everything that you need and everything is being explained to you so you understand what's going on. And it's also okay to have a second opinion if something is wrong. Or I've had a client who like just really didn't feel comfortable with her provider. Where it's also said that Black women typically have shorter visit times when you actually go to an OBGYN because of some of those reasons. And she just didn't feel comfortable. She said her doctor was kind of like in and out. She didn't have time to ask questions or didn't feel like she was just able to fully explain what was going on. And I had to tell her, like, you can nicely switch providers. Like, that is
Exactly.
okay. And she
Exactly.
eventually did. And she had a better provider. Like, she had a much better experience after she switched providers. But some people feel like because this is my provider, I'm supposed to stick with it. No, at any point, if you don't feel comfortable, like, this is your body, this is a very vulnerable experience. Like, you need to be comfortable with the team that you have around you. And if at any time you don't, it's okay to switch. Like, this is a decision you're gonna have to deal with. And another thing, I was actually talking to one of my providers, and we were just talking about me being a doula. And one of the things, it was a older male doctor. He was from a different area, and one of his things was he was like, "You're probably not old enough to remember." But he said back in the day, insurance companies used to actually pay women $500 if you left in the same day that you had your baby in order to free up a room.
What?
Yeah, and he was like, so imagine what happened. He was like, a lot of people left. They didn't know how to left and didn't know how to take care of their baby. They had like different issues. And he was like, then they would have to come back to the emergency room. So now for the insurance company, that is creating an emergency room bill. So basically they're getting more money because you're gonna do is turn around and come back. And it was just like, that was mind boggling. And of course that may or may not still happen today. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard some interesting stories in like different rural areas, but still to this day, like, it's still a lot of concern that are based around women having babies and the type of care they get. So there may not be the same issue to this day, but it's still a lot of things going on that shouldn't be. And we still have a higher death rate, especially for Black women. So most importantly, I encourage, as many as can, but just get a doula, get somebody who's there who can actually just help you, because that'll go a long way. A lot of times that'll save lives. That'll save a lot of the issues that we are having in the hospital, because a lot of people do not simply have someone there who is actually there to support them. And if you have that staff that is a little questionable, people realize that, oh, she doesn't have anybody here with her. Nobody's going to do anything. Like, I'm going to say this, that, and the third and kind of walk out the room. Or we're just going to kind of push this on them like it's an emergency or something crazy. And it's just like, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you get people into some of these interventions that may not be necessary as well.
Right. Thank you for sharing those statistics. And I know that they are bad, but that's the truth. It's
Right.
really bad. And, I even felt like that, even as a nurse, going in for labor and delivery and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
I felt like, I wasn't being listened to and stuff. And, I had to kind of be like, wait a minute now.
Right.
You know
Right.
this.
Right.
And even my doctor one time, he was like, I forget that you're a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, you had the education. Not all people do, or some people are just nervous to ask questions because they feel like, well, if they said it, then that's what we have to do. And it's like, even if that is medically necessary, it's just like it's okay to still ask questions and understand why. Why are we
Right,
doing this? Yeah.
right, right. All right, Shatija, anything to
Yes,
add today?
so yes, so this conversation, well, not this conversation, but this question is like such an important conversation because it's not talked about of what Black women go through, while laboring. So, like, piggyback off of what Beb said, like we know statistically, like Black women face higher like risk during pregnancy and childbirth, not because of like lack of education or income, but because of systematic issues within the healthcare. So,
Exactly.
because of this reality, having strong, informed support during birth can literally be life saving. So, when a Black woman is supported by her partner, family, and a doula, she is less likely to be ignored, dismissed, or overlooked in moments that truly matter. So, as a doula, we help ensure that mother's concerns are heard and her questions are taken seriously and nothing is brushed aside. So we help create a layer of protection between the mother and the system that does not always listen the way that it should. So for partners and families, we also help them understand what is normal, what is not, and what is necessary to speak up and advocate. So for example, it is normal to feel tired. It's normal to feel sore, I'm sorry, shaky or overwhelmed during labor and in postpartum period. So it's normal to need time to adjust both physically and mentally. So what is not normal is like severe sudden pains that feel different from labor, excessive bleeding, a fever, chest pressure, or feeling faint. And what is also not normal is for mothers concerned to be ignored. So I feel like as a doula and for my clients, and as them being a mother, I feel like they should always speak up when her intuition is coming to the forefront and telling her something is not right. So if she does speak up and it's not being heard, that's when we as a her team, um, as her support, system becomes critical. So as a doula, we help like reinforce the mother's voice and ask follow up questions, and we basically help her make sure her concerns are taken seriously. So for the partner and family members, they also play a vital role by standing firm along her and help her advocate when she's exhausted and vulnerable. So I like to always remind families that birth is not just a medical event; it is so much more, and it's so emotional, it's ancestral, and deeply personal. And so when a Black woman is surrounded by support that honors her voice, like Beth said, her body and her intuition, it could change her entire experience. So reminding her that she's not being dramatic and that she is being proactive and that she should always trust what her body is telling her can make all the difference. And in some cases, like I said before, the support can really change her and save her life.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
love it was one thing that you said that stuck out to me when you said a layer of protection. I love that.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. It's very needed for us and during labor.
Yes,
Like I say, we are overlooked. It's sad to
exactly.
say we are overlooked.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see. Shatisha, I'll start with you. Any tips about how to find a doula or what to look for in a doula? If a woman is expecting or she plans to have a baby and she knows she wants a doula, what tips can you give her for finding one?
So I will speak on what to look for in a doula. So I always tell my client or potential clients to really pay attention to how a doula makes you feel in conversations. So you want someone who listens more than they talk, and someone who does not rush you, and someone who makes you feel safe asking questions, even the ones that you think are silly. So looking for a doula who understands that birth is not just one size fit all, that your experience, your body, your culture, and your boundaries all matter. So a good doula knows how to support your vision, and also help you navigate the system and speak up when something does not feel right. So one of the huge things about a doula and a client is the connection. That's a huge part of working together as a team. So this is someone who may see you at you're most vulnerable. So trust your intuition, and if you leave the conversation feeling calmer and more confident and more informed, this is a good sign that you have the right doula for you and your family.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Beverly, anything to add to that?
Yes. So although we're not make medical providers, make your list of must-haves the same, because this person will be one of the people that are in your most intimate moments of your life. We will have conversations that you may not even have with your family. So we'll see you in your most vulnerable state. And that means emotionally and physically. Like, you may, like I said, you may spill some things because of our conversation. You feel so comfortable that something may resonate with you to be like, okay, let me go ahead and share this. Or just like during your birth. Of course, there are going to be times when women think they're going to have these cute outfits on during birth, and an hour later, you don't want nothing on. So it's like, make sure that it's somebody in that you feel comfortable with. So whether your list includes, you want somebody who has a certain amount of years of experience, or if the years don't matter, but you want that person to have all the information and resources and the willingness that you need, then look for that. But always have someone who values your integrity, has passion for what they do, and who is not judgmental about your situation. Because you need somebody that you feel comfortable with. Because, like I said, you might think this is how things are going to go, and things may take a shift from what you thought. So make sure somebody you feel comfortable with to go through all of those stages with you. And as far as finding a doula, there are many ways to find a doula. So whether you have agencies you can go through, you can actually contact birthing centers, and they have doula resources. You can also, like you said, they do, for people who prefer it, hospitals do have doulas. If you just want a day of doula, of course, the experience is different because you won't get to make a bonding connection with that person before you get there. So if that matters to you, make sure you go down that rabbit hole too. And then there are also doula registries. They do have a national Black doula registry. Like, they have doula mats. They have all kind of resources, but for the most part, you can type doulas and you probably can type your city or your area. Most people on their website is listed a few times, so it'll pop up or it'll bring up those registries. But yes, you do have Black doula registries. You have like Dona, where it's a mix of things. And even with the type of doula, normally you can type in whether you want, because there are so many different types of doulas as well. And people don't realize it. So you have birth, you have postpartum, you have fertility, you have end of life doulas. Like, you have so many types of doulas. So it's kind of like, no matter what you're looking for, you can typically find a doula to kind of support that stage of what you're going through. And a lot of doulas also, some do also have help in like lactation and different things like that. So, like I said, just educate yourself. Go down the rabbit hole, because I'll tell you, once you start the doula rabbit hole, you're gonna find all types of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so even I'm still learning stuff to this day. But like I said, just like make your list of what must have, and when you're interviewing people, think about that, because a lot of people do offer free consultation. So it's kind of like, think about that when you're actually with them or when you meet them as well.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
to add on what she just said about the interviewing, interview more than one doula. Because at the end of the day, this is your body, your
Right.
baby, and your birth. So you're allowed to shop around. So talk to at least 2 to 3 doulas that help you. And no, there will talk to 2 to 3 doulas that help, and then basically compare their energy and approach in alignment with your values, and ask real questions. So some of the questions that you can possibly ask is, how do you advocate during high stress moments? How do you support clients if birth doesn't go as planned? Or what does postpartum support look like, you know, for you?
Yeah.
And so it's very important to make sure, like we have said before, to make sure you feel comfortable with the doula and that she matches your values at all times.
Okay. Awesome. Um, Before we go, I want each of you to name one thing that makes you stand out as a doula. Shatija, I'll start with you.
Ooh.
That's a good question. You try to like throw that one in there. We like that.
Out. For me, I feel as if I stand out because I actually want you to feel seen and heard, which is cliche to say because I mean that's what all doulas want. But for me, I'm very, deeply I care about us as women. And I know it's different for us, like I said before, when it comes to birth. So I feel as if I want to make sure that you don't feel left out, regardless of the fact, and that I always will. I want you to. I want you to feel as if I'm that bridge for you, and I don't want you to feel that I'm there to judge because I'm not. And so I feel like I said before, I feel as if that's a question that just popped up out of nowhere. But that I just feel I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but
Oh, you fine.
yeah, I just don't want her to feel like I'm not there for her, and that I just want her to feel comfortable in my space, and like I want her to also know that she don't have to worry about anything while I'm as her doula. So yeah, I feel like that's how I'm different, and I'm sorry that I answered it all over
No,
the place, but
that's okay.
that caught me off guard just now.
You fine, Beverly?
So for me, I feel like the way I stand out is I don't have a blueprint. I'm a type of person where I guess because my brain, I'm used to working with special needs kids as kids, and my brain being like 47 places. So it's kind of like as far as with my clients. Now I do have kind of like a guideline that I kind of go off of, just the things to remind me to do. But I don't have a blueprint. So that means I like to tailor stuff to fit your needs. What may work for the one client may not work for the next client. So just
Right.
kind of adjust in my mind that this one may not go like the next one, or the next one may not need the same thing. So I'm there for whatever you need. I've used prenatal visits before because my client was stressed because she couldn't get a room organized. I'm sorry, whatever is going to help you relax. We about to reorganize this room. Like, I don't care. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm here to make your birth plan. I do need to do the things that I have on my to-do list to do. But it's like outside of that, if you really need something and you just don't have the help, if it's going to help you, your stress level stay down to where we need it to be, like I'm here, I can do it.
Mhm.
And I'm used to working with kids, so a lot of people kind of like want to like put their kids away in a different room or do different things. I'm not really that person. We're just talking,
Oh,
we're having a conversation. I've gotten on the floor and played with people's kids. I done downloaded games and
oh,
all kinds of stuff, but it's just like it doesn't bother me. I'm used to being around kids. I'm the youngest in my family, so I've had everybody's kids. Seems like so. It's
oh,
kind of like no, we can incorporate the kids into the visit to kind of feel
okay.
included. We don't have to exclude them, which I get it because you're trying to have like a little personal moment and don't want all the noise. But it's like
Right.
I'm good enough with kids where I can calm their noise and I can talk to you because they're just interested. It's a new person in the house that they
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of times my visits may shift a little bit from what we probably thought they're gonna look like. Now we're gonna have to incorporate other things while we get this done. We may need to go over your birth plan, and then I may need to help you change this load of laundry out because you can't bend over into the dryer. Like, it's okay. I've washed dishes. I've done all the things.
Oh,
I found a midwife for my doula, but I mean, before my client, because she literally like dropped in the middle of giving services. So it's just like, no, I'll do my best to kind of advocate for you and probably go outside. And not saying that any doula who doesn't do it, something wrong with some people, like just like with work, you have people who work a 9 to 5. Some people are gonna clock out at 5 o'clock. Some people are just gonna stay to 7 because they just want to get stuff done. And
right.
there's nothing wrong with either. People just have different ways of doing things.
Right. I love that you say you incorporate the kids if they have their kids there.
I do. I love kids. I love
Oh.
kids too much. I probably be running around in the house with your kids acting crazy, but it's just like whatever
It-
comes to kids, like because it's like, and they do have like sibling doulas as well. Like if you want to hire a sibling doula, they have people to do that.
oh, I didn't know
But
that.
when I have time, I'm used to juggling. So when I have time, no, I can do both.
Oh,
Yeah, and the kids seem to love it. Like I've seen kids that's kind of like put their hands on placenta. Of course, we glove them up and all that kind of stuff. Like some
yeah.
kids are just interested, and it's like if that's what calms them and give you a chance to go do something else, then that's fine. We'll do that too.
Yeah. And did you say that you help organize, you say the baby room?
I did. It was a
Oh,
it was a lady. Her husband worked like 2 jobs. They had 2 other kids, and she was there like by herself a lot of the times. And like, of course, he just didn't have the time. Their other two kids were a bit younger, so she was just struggling trying to, get some stuff organized. We organized the room. We've done laundry. I've been in there washing dishes and reorganizing the pantry. Like, it was just like, because after a while, that's kind of like, okay, like, let's see if you can give certain people tasks. Because I had to teach her how to delegate. Like, you're almost 9 months pregnant. You can't be doing all this by yourself. And I guess
Right.
she felt like, because she's used to being a stay-at-home mom, she's done all these things. But it's kind of like, you have to be realistic about where you are. You can't properly do all these things by yourself. So it came a point of me trying to get her to delegate. But of course, with him having two jobs, kids at school, and that type of thing, it was still hard. So it was just like, okay, let's plan a day. And we're just gonna get some stuff organized. At least that'll get it off your mind. You don't have to stress about it. Like, I didn't mind doing it. So I went there one day, and yeah, we just got a bunch of household stuff and it
It's
relaxed her,
awesome.
so it did the job.
That's awesome. Look, that definitely make you stand out with me.
Yeah, and even with postpartum doulas, a lot of people don't understand there are postpartum doulas who actually do things like that. So some people just think
Right.
like, oh, she's gonna come in here and be a nanny. No, you have postpartum doulas whether it's for a few hours during the middle of the day. You can be there overnight. It just depends, but they help with those household chores. They help actually take care of the baby so you can actually get rest because people don't realize how important rest is.
Right.
If you don't get enough rest, everything else is going to start to crumble because
Exactly.
and it's like your partner may need, like, you may feel like, oh, my partner gets home, they're gonna have, but it's also like they worked all day today. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They had a baby.
Right.
So even though it's a little bit different than what you're staying at home doing, but everybody also gets burnt out. So that postpartum doulas to kind of come in to help everybody not get burnt out. You know what I'm saying? Because during the early stages of having a baby, that baby can go through a lot of different changes, not sleeping, not eating, and everybody know when the baby cranky, everybody in the house cranky.
Right. Right.
So that's why that is so important. People think that's a small task, but no, that's a huge thing once you realize I've gotten enough sleep all night so I can properly, take care of my baby or I have the energy to do all of these things. It helps with milk production and all those type of things. So it's like those little small things that people don't realize they actually help. And then there are some doulas who actually take Medicaid services. So if you're looking for someone and you're not having the funds to pay for it, find someone who possibly accepts Medicaid as well.
So, okay. Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Shatija, I'm gonna go back to you. When you were talking about what make you stand out, you forgot to talk about the placenta encapsulation. To
Oh
me, that
yeah.
makes you stand out.
And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. That question, this is real and raw cut podcast. That question threw me for a loop. I apologize if it was all over the place.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, yes, I am a placenta encapsulation specialist, and I actually took my course in Charlotte with Amara Bratz, which she's a doula as well. And so a placenta encapsulation is basically the at the birth, and it's connected. It connects your the mom and the baby together. So you have the placenta that is full of nutrients for the baby. So of course, the nutrients go through the umbilical cord to the placenta, and it helps grow your baby. And so after the mom labors her baby, the placenta comes in afterwards. And so as a doula, if I'm not her birthing doula and she hires me as her placenta encapsulation doula, I will go to the hospital after she has the baby, of course, and I will collect the placenta from the hospital. And so after I collect the placenta, the turnaround time usually is 48 hours. So I will go home and I would placenta. And one thing I do offer as a placenta encapsulation specialist, I offer placenta print. So I basically will clean the placenta off and I will color the placenta with food dye, and I will print it on a canvas for you. And so that's called a placenta print. So then after that I will clean off the dye, of course, and I will go through the process of dehydration, making it into capsules, and it's a lot of work that comes behind encapsulating placentas because I have to be careful making sure that mom did not have her fever while she was laboring, because if mom is going through complications while she's in labor, the placenta cannot get encapsulated. So I had to make sure that everything is okay with the placenta. And so after I go through the process again of and I go through the process of steaming it, then I dehydrate it, and after dehydration, I cut it, not cut it up, but make it into a powder, and I make capsules. So it basically helps with postpartum depression, milk flow. It helps mom hormone balances, and so when mom is feeling depressed, she will take the placenta encapsulations. The placenta encapsulation capsules, and so mom can take it up to 6 weeks. She don't have to take it every day unless she feels like the depression is coming on. But she can take 2 capsules or 4 capsules a day. And so after I you know, do the process of encapsulating everything. I save the umbilical cord, which you call it the umbilical keepsake. And so I can do it into any type of shape. And after I dehydrate it, I, of course, color it the color the mom wants it to be. And so I package up everything and I ship it off to mom. So um, what I like to do, I like to pick it up and I like to also ship it to mom so she don't have to worry about distressing about like, coming collecting her placenta from me because during this vulnerable stage, you don't need to be out. You need to be resting and, bonding with your baby. So I make sure that I take care of everything. So placenta encapsulation really does help moms with postpartum depression, and that's one of my favorite things to do, and as a doula, I feel like it's very important that you have that type of research, knowing the benefits of a placenta, because in a hospital, they call it as medical waste. And some moms are not educated on what a placenta really does. And so I like to tell my clients, like, go down a rabbit hole, like, understand why you want to go this route. So I make sure I definitely, keep them up to date with what's the importance of a placenta. And so that's why I became a placenta encapsulation specialist, because I knew how special the placenta is, and we also call the placenta the tree of life.
Wow, awesome.
Because the veins, if you ever look at a placenta, the veins actually, look like like a whole family function, not a whole family function, but a whole tree that have like the branches, like the veins branch out like a tree. So it's called a tree of life. So yeah, that's a placenta encapsulation specialist.
And look, I didn't know anything about that. I had heard a little bit about it years ago, but then when I
Mm-hmm.
was expecting, I had my holistic chiropractor actually told me that I
Mm-hmm.
needed to do that.
Yes, it's a special route to take.
Yeah,
And I have heard a lot about the placenta, taking it as like vitamins. I
yeah,
heard it's very helpful for moms during postpartum stages.
yeah.
And that's interesting that you mentioned chiropractic, because a lot of people don't realize you can go to the chiropractor like when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
they do have chiropractors for babies. Like when you actually deliver your baby, like they have chiropractors for that as well. Just because when the baby's coming out of the birth canal, a lot of stuff is still getting shifted. So they have chiropractors who will actually do adjustments
Mm-hmm.
on your baby. Of course, you'll
Yes.
have to check and see which age. Of course, everybody starts at different ages, but they do have chiropractors for them as well.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, Beverly. My chiropractor actually came to the hospital after I delivered my
Oh, that's
son
good.
and she adjusted him. So he's been getting adjusted since birth.
That's good, and that makes a
Wow.
difference. I mean, just as much of a difference as it makes in adults. Like it's good
Yeah.
to kind of, start them off early too if you can.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had one more thing I wanted to mention. I feel like me and Teacher, we talked about like birth doulas from like the birth perspective, but I didn't want people to think like, oh, you had your baby, we just disappeared.
Oh, definitely
Like,
not.
so we actually do like postpartum visits as well. Typically, some doulas do one postpartum visit, some do two. And just like how the communication and the visits were before pregnancy, I know mine are kind of like a little bit of the same afterwards. So I still do two postpartum visits, and we still have constant communication up until 6 weeks after you have your baby.
Okay.
So we don't just kind of like fall off. Like I still come in. I think the first visit is like 48 hours after you have your baby, just to kind of check in, see how things are going. If you're able to help like with lactation, we just make sure you're breastfeeding fine. Just check in mentally. And that second visit is kind of the same too. Check in mentally. I typically, if you want pictures, like my last client wanted pictures, I take a ton of pictures and videos and I compile them into a video. Typically,
Oh,
I take notes, so I write down just like random stuff, like to calm mom down. The dad starts singing to mom. Like I write down what the weather was. I write down different conversations or different little things that I feel like you may want to know that happened, but you just kind of wasn't obviously like fully present for. And
yeah.
like give little keepsakes and then come in and then that's when I get to, see the baby and hold the baby if you want me to, because of course that's up to the parent too, and just have those little moments to kind of check in mentally and physically before we kind of like discharge. And then most people, like I still have people, my clients still send me pictures to this day. Her 6 weeks was over with at Christmas, but we still talk. Like I don't just disappear and act like I don't know you.
Yeah.
So we still talk and text. She sends me pictures of the baby all the time. So it's like there's still a connection and we don't just disappear after the birth has taken place.
I love that you mentioned that because I know some people probably were wondering that. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
that's why I thought about it. I'm like, I don't want people to be like, "Oh, the birth is over. See you later." Like, no. Like I still talk to you weekly or daily, or like sometimes my client has questions. Like, of course, we're normally on call from 37 weeks until you have your baby.
Mhm.
So it's like, of course, that is a period of time where no matter what time you contact me, I'm going to contact you right back. Other than that, it's just kind of like, if you contact me at 12 o'clock at night, obviously you've had your baby. I always look at my text. I'm the type of person, I may respond. If you text me at 3 o'clock in the morning, I might text you back at 3:05. But
Wow.
if I'm not up, then I'll just text you my normal business hours. I'm a night owl. So it's kind of like if you text me at that time, I know you're up, so I'll text you back. But
Yeah.
if not, it's kind of like I'll get back to a normal business hour. But typically, I'm gonna still look at it. So it's like we're not gonna just kind of act like you fell off the face of the earth. We're still obviously there. Like we're still a part of your team, and for me, you can text or call me anytime. Like it doesn't really bother me.
Awesome.
And I also want to add, I want to go back into the placenta encapsulation because I didn't mention about the placenta tinctures. So, what is a placenta tincture? It's made by infusing a small portion of a placenta in high proof alcohol for several weeks, which extract and preserve its compound into like a liquid that can last up for years. And some parents choose placenta tincture for gentle emotional and hormonal support, especially during postpartum mood shifts and anxiety and weaning, the return of cycles or major life transitioning long after birth. So, unlike placenta capsules, which are usually taken in early postpartum period, tinctures are taken in small drops, and they're often safe for moments when mom feels emotional or need grounding. So usually, she'll take a few drops under the tongue or in water if needed,
Mhm.
and many people take it on the schedule. So it's important to note that the placenta tincture is not FDA approved or medical prescribed, but it should always be like prepared safely and someone that's trained like myself. So for many families, especially those reconnecting with ancestral or holistic practices, placenta tincture represents honoring the postpartum period and expanding options for care beyond simply pushing through. So, like I said, not only do I, encapsulate the placenta, I do tincture as well.
Okay. I didn't even know that was a thing, Shatija.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is my last question for you ladies. How can listeners find your website or find you on social media? And is there anything else you would like to share? Because I know you have the community baby shower coming up, so please
Yes.
share the details on that.
So, contacting us, for me, I have a Facebook, is T the Doula. My Instagram is Chris's Birthing LLC. My website is christmasburden.asme. It's christmasburdenllc.as.me. My email is christmasburdenco@gmail.com. Phone number 803-949-5402. And Bev, your contact information.
So mine is I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok,
All the social media.
Threads, probably on Twitter. Well, X now. All my stuff is BB Queens. So you can type BB Queens or BB Queens Doula. Um, right now I'm updating my website, so it is not up. However, you can contact me on any of those, and I respond pretty quickly. As far as phone number, my phone number is 803-810-9213. And I believe, or my email address is bbqueens with an S, doula@gmail.com.
Y'all want to share about the baby shower?
Oh, yes.
She's still on.
All right. So as far as the baby shower, so me and Shatija have partnered together to do a village community baby shower on June 27th from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's for moms who are needing items.
All right. And my last question, ladies, I know you told us how listeners could find you, but tell us how we can donate or where the community baby shower will be that's upcoming this summer.
Yeah, so we'll be having a community baby shower here in Lancaster, South Carolina, June 27th from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can find details on our Facebook page. It's the Village Community Baby Shower. We're also on Instagram at Village Community BS for baby shower. So normally we post things there. We'll have a lot of different items for families. There'll be like diapers, wipes, bottles. We'll have different baby gear, strollers, car seats, as much things as we can get donated. There'll also be some postpartum items for moms, like breast pumps and different things, whether it's slings. We'll also have different resources that are offered in the areas. So there'll be WIC offices. There'll be other doulas as well. Lactation. We have a mom there that's making she makes like lactation bars to kind of help with breastfeeding and those types of things. We're going to have some doctor's offices for smaller children, so daycares. It'll be a little bit of everything. We're trying to get as many resources and as many items out to moms in the area. As well as you can also go on Eventbrite and register. So if you see our flyers around town, they have a QR code. You can register there, and we also have some in English and in Spanish. But you can also go to Eventbrite, and of course it is free. But it just gives us an idea of who's coming, what age you're looking for as far as items. You can also answer a question there if you're interested in doula services, and we'll send you some information from the both of us. So we're trying to just get as many resources out to moms, and like I said, everything is free. So there's no paying for anything. You come and get what you need.
Awesome.
And everything is also first come, first serve. And I don't remember you mentioning the location, the actual address. So the actual address to our baby shower is 260 S Plantation Road, Lancaster, South Carolina, 29720. I apologize. Is the Lancaster County Parks and Recreation Center in Lancaster. And like I said, it's definitely first come, first serve. So we don't know how the turnout is going to be, so it's best to get there before 10:30 to get in the line, because of course we're going to introduce ourselves and we're going to explain, the route to take once you get in the baby shower. And some of the things that we also are going to have are like door prizes. So we're definitely offer that, and we are looking for volunteers as well. If anybody want to volunteer to help out at the baby shower, so we have a link to actually fill out a volunteering form. And we'll also have a DJ. We will have someone catering food, so like a little refreshment. So after everyone gets done collecting their items as they walk out, they can collect like a refreshment. And for our baby shower, we basically wanted to feel like they're shopping. You know, we don't want no one to feel like they have to be judged because of everything being free. And we want them to make sure they feel as if, oh, I can go in here and, collect anything that I need and not feel like I'm a charity. So we want everyone to feel welcome, and we want to create a space to where they feel supportive and have all the resources that they may not know of. And so we want them to feel like we're there to support them, and to pour love into them during, the time of them being pregnant, or, making them feel like they're never alone. So yeah, the Village Community Baby Shower is definitely coming up very soon, and I don't think Bev mentioned like the donations. Like if anybody wants to donate, you can definitely email us at the Village Community Baby Shower at Gmail, and we can set up a meeting time to gather the donations. And we also have been thinking about doing like a pop-up donation drop-off. The information for that will definitely come soon. So definitely follow us on the Village Community Baby Shower on Facebook to keep up with our updates on whenever we'll have a pop up for the donation drop offs.
And for those who want to give financially, we do have PayPal, Venmo, all of those things. And we also have an Amazon registry. So Amazon registry, it has certain items on there. We have like gift cards and different things if you would rather purchase things that way. But you can go on our registry and actually purchase items. But like I said, if you have any questions of how to give or where to give or what's the easiest way, just email us, or you can call us by either one of our numbers and just ask questions. We're typically open for whatever. We get to our email very quickly because of course it's two of us. So any questions that you have, just feel free to reach out. We've been getting a lot of donations from people, from organizations. So if you have anything and you feel like it's a question of should I donate or can I donate it, just give us a call or shoot us an email and we'll be happy to help you out. Or like I said, we can meet you to get the items or give you a drop-off location.
Awesome. So thank y'all for doing this. This is amazing. Is this an annual event or?
At least make it annual. Depending on what type of turnout we get or how many items we get, we're thinking about doing one spring and one fall eventually. But of course, that depends on the items. But yeah, we're gonna definitely do it annually, at least every summer.
Okay, awesome. So I'm from Lancaster also. So ladies that's listening, please go out and support these ladies. These ladies are awesome. So go out and support or donate or even give.
Right. Thank you.
It's for everyone to come out, and we look forward to seeing everyone as well.
Awesome. All right. I want to thank you, Shatija, and thank you, Beverly, for joining me today. It was a pleasure. It was very educational. Y'all taught me some stuff.
Yeah, and thank you for allowing us to use your platform to, get the word out about doulas and about our baby shower.
Oh, you're very welcome. And thank you, mamas, for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share. Take care, and talk to you soon.